You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. We have an update on the Trey Holly situation. Again, if you're not familiar, Trey Holly, LSU running back, member of the class of 2023, who, when he finished his high school career at Union Parish up in Farmerville, he was the state's all-time leading rusher, more than 10,000 rushing yards, blew the doors off the old record that Nick Brissett had. Nick Brissett was an 8,000-yard rusher during his time at U-High, and Trey Holly became a 10,000-yard rusher. Incredible. And last February, there was a shooting incident in Union Parish up in Farmerville, in Trey Holly's hometown. And Trey was accused of attempted second-degree murder, among other things. He came out and, if you recall, posted on Facebook and very forcefully and vehemently denied the allegations. He very, very, very staunchly defended himself in this post on Facebook where he said, as you guys know, was recently arrested on 3 felony charges. I've been falsely identified, accused, and arrested. I am 100% innocent, and the people that know me know this is not my character at all. I was not involved in the incident at all. I was at home, which is where the incident took place. I turned myself in because I was notified of an arrest warrant, and I wanted to fully cooperate. Due to this being an ongoing investigation, I cannot give many details. He went on to say, I'm sorry, and all that sort of stuff. But listen, man. If you're wrongly accused of something, that's the answer you want. Hey, man, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I was home. This is wrong. I did not do it. I was not involved. Like, you want that. And that's what Trey Holly did. And, of course, in this country, we have a presumption of innocence until guilt is proven. And it is worth noting that the attempted second-degree murder charges were dropped. A grand jury did not indict him on the attempted second-degree murder charges. And there's an old adage, remember from my days in news, the old newsmen would say, a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. Like, meaning it is very easy to get an indictment. It doesn't mean you're guilty, it's just to bring charges. And so the fact that they did not indict him on the attempted second-degree murder charges it was a giant win for Trey Holly. Now, he is going to go to court, however, to trial on July the 7th on charges of illegal use of a weapon and aggravated criminal damage. Now, there are 2 pretrial hearings, May 21st and June 25th. So, while Trey Holly still faces felony charges, he is suspended from the LSU football team. And just to go back to illustrate how long this process is drawn out, remember, the shooting happened in February of last year, so a calendar year ago. And that's when Trey Holly turned himself in. During the spring, this is what Brian Kelly said during spring football.
Well, I think they're talking about, sometime in the middle of April that we could see a full resolution to this. At that time, we'll begin the process in assisting him for reinstatement, and we'll advocate for him on his behalf. And welcome him back.
That was in spring last year. So then we get to SEC Media Days, still no resolution. I asked Brian Kelly one-on-one for a Trey Holly update. This was in July.
The judge in that county, he had to recuse himself because of the familiarity. Because of that, they had to move the case back to next week. If it gets adjudicated next week, it should be over with next week. We're hoping that finally ends this saga.
So that was July. They were hoping in July it was going to be adjudicated, done. It wasn't. In September, the case got delayed again. Here was Brian Kelly.
We've followed Trey's situation legally, and there's not much that we can do. We hope for a resolution in the case, but this is out of our hands right now. This is a matter that needs to be handled through the courts, and once it's cleared through the courts, then we'll be able to make a decision on his status. again, I think we've been pretty clear that, he can't play football here until the legal matters have been settled.
I mean, look, I understand there are alleged crimes, and if those crimes were committed, then those responsible should absolutely have retribution. What is massively disappointing is that you have this very talented young guy whose career is wilting away because the legal process has just got this thing stuck in the mud. So it's been a year. We hope there's resolution. Again, July 7th is the court date. The trial date, I should say, excuse me. There's 2 pretrial hearings in May and in June. So hopefully by July or before then, this is adjudicated, it's over with, and Trey Holly's allowed to go on with his life and rejoin the football team. That timetable would allow him to be there for the start of fall camp. But, of course, he would have missed all of this season and spring with the way this is going right now. And when you look at the running back room, and I understand, I want to be very clear, there are very real felonious activities alleged here. And it's dramatically more important than football. But we are a sports show, so I have to talk about the correlation, how it impacts LSU football. And the unfortunate thing for Trey Holly is as he's been gone, LSU has had to proceed as if they're not going to have him. And so you look now, you lose Josh Williams, is out of eligibility, but Caden Durham was freshman All-America. He's back. Caleb Jackson is back for his 3rd year in the program now. And you're bringing in Harlem Berry and JT Lindsey. Berry is a 5-star number 1 running back in the country, and JT Lindsey was a top 10 running back in the country. You've now got those 4 scholarship running backs ahead of Harlem Berry, who would be going into his 3rd year of college, but didn't play at all last year. How far back on the depth chart is Trey Holly? And then after that, you've got 4 walk-ons with Malachi Lane, Joseph Eboon, and then DK Kensey is another one who prepped at Archbishop Shaw, went to Penn State, and now is walked on at LSU. And then if you missed it a month ago, or earlier this month, I should say, around signing day, Reed Chauvin, who's a fantastic running back locally here at Episcopal High, also was offered the opportunity, like Emil Picarella from U-High, who's walking on at quarterback. Well, Reed Chauvin is walking on at running back. So you've got the 4 scholarship running backs, 4 walk-on running backs, in addition to Trey Holly. So your numbers at running back are really strong, and you look and you really wonder, like, where does Trey Holly fit in the longer he's gone? So for his sake, from a football perspective, and just my life perspective, gosh, I hope this is it. By the time you get to July 7th, it will have been a year and a half since that incident. It is time to bring this thing to resolution. My hope is that it'll happen July 7th, if not sooner. If this thing can be a finality can be agreed upon before you ever get to July. But we'll continue to follow it as it moves along. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.